Hi, Verbling. My name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. And today we're going to be talking about used to and would to talk about the past. Mirza, welcome to class.
Thank you.
I think this is my first time with you, right, Mirza?
Yes, I am with first time.
It's good to meet you. Where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan, but now I'm in Dubai.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I'm from Arizona. So, good to
good.
have you in class today.
Thank you.
And Hector, welcome to class.
Hi,
How are you, Hector?
fine, thanks. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing well. Have I had you in class before?
Now is my third class in Berlin, and
Awesome.
the first with you.
Nice to meet you. Where are you
Nice to meet
from?
you too. From Spain.
Excellent. We have a diverse class today. Good to have you with us.
Thanks.
Christian, welcome to class.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
I think this is your first time with me as well, right?
Yeah, it's my first class.
And where are you from?
I'm from Bucaramanga, Colombia.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, we have people from all over the world in this class. I love it. Next up is Asumi. Asumi?
Yeah, hello everyone.
Did I say that okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Asumi.
What?
Asumi.
Asalu?
No, Asumi.
Ah, Asumi. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for helping me out with the pronunciation of your name. And where are you from, Asumi?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Cool. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
All right. And Sergio, welcome to class. Sergio? Can you hear me? Okay, Sergio, I'm going to come back. And for now, I muted you because we're hearing a lot of audio feedback from your audio. But if you need to unmute yourself, let me just show you. You're going to come up here to this button. When it's red, you're muted. When it's white and black, you're unmuted. So if you need to unmute yourself, you can go there. And Jose, welcome to class.
Okay, hello teacher.
Nice to meet you, Jose.
Where are you from?
Okay, I'm from Brazil, and I'm
Oh, so it's Jose.
Jose. It's nice.
Got it.
Thank
All
you.
right. What part of Brazil are you from?
Northwest. I'm live in the Ceará, the capital, Fortaleza.
Wow, very cool. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Do you know here?
Well, I live in Brazil, but I've never been to Fortaleza.
Oh, here you have excellent beaches and great dishes at the beach.
Yes, it's something that's been on my list of places I would love to go see in Brazil. I currently live in Minas Gerais.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I love it here as well.
Good. There is not so much beautiful beach there, but it's a nice place too.
Yeah, no beaches, or at least no ocean beaches, but
Yeah.
it's still a really gorgeous place, so I enjoy my time here.
Good teacher.
All right, good to have you with us, Jose. And next up is Juliana. Or Julia.
I'm Julia. Julia. Hi, hello. Nice to meet you all.
Good to meet you, Julia. Where are you from?
I'm from Moscow. I wasn't born here, but I live here now.
Cool. I guess it's warm there right now, right? Summer?
Actually, it's the beginning of autumn, but it's quite warm. Sometimes it's rainy. It's okay. I can live with it.
All right, better enjoy the last nice weather days that there are before it gets too cold.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and Sergio, did you figure out how to... You're muted.
Hello?
Can
you hear me now?
I can hear you, Sergio. Good to have you with us. Where are you from?
From Spain.
From Spain?
Yes, from Spain.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys. So let's get started. We're going to talk about used to and would today. And I'm going to send you guys the notes in the chat box. And I'm going to also share my screen for anyone who needs it, so we can stick together while we're going through these notes. We're going to be talking a little bit about the past tense today. When we're talking about something that happened several times in the past. The first rule or guideline we have here about the use of these phrases, I'm going to ask Asumi to read for us.
Okay. Used to and would. Both used to and would can be used to describe repeated action in the past. They are variably interchangeable. They are often used in writing or speaking to talk about the past, for example.
Thank you very much. And the first 3 examples there, Christian, can you read those first 3 sentences?
Okay. When I was young, I used to go fishing. I used to have a cat. My grandfather would always smoke his pipe after dinner.
Thank you very much. And the next 3, Hector, can you read them? Or the
Yes.
the last ones.
People would get very angry when the tax collector came to town. In those days, people would draw water from the village well. When I was a child, I would wake up to the sound of birds singing.
Thank you very much, Hector. And Herman, welcome to class. Did I say your name right, Herman? Herman, you're muted. There's a button at the top of your Verbling window that looks like a little microphone, and it will be red if you're muted. So you can click there, and you will be able to unmute yourself. If you're having any other difficulties, let me know in the chat box. Okay, so let's continue reading our notes before we get into some fun examples. The next rule and the little sentence going along with it is for Jose. Can you read that one for us?
Of course, teacher. Neither used to nor would can be used to refer to single actions in the past. For example, it would not be possible to use either form in this sentence. In 1992, I moved from London to Leeds.
Thank you very much. On to rule number 3. This one's going to be for Julia. Julia, can you read this rule and the example sentences?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Used to can also be used to describe past states with the verbs such as be, have, and live. For example, I used to live in France. He used to have a bird. Bird. Yeah, I always have problem with this one. This building used to be a hotel.
Thank you very much. And in that second sentence, this word here is the E sound, like beard, beard.
Beard?
Uh-huh.
Beard.
Kind of the same vowel sound as in read.
Oh, read. Beard. Beard.
Uh-huh. Exactly. All right. Thank you very much. And we have a quick note here. Would cannot normally be used in such sentences unless the state is repeated and qualified by an adverb, such as often. And I'm not sure what happened to the example there. I'm not sure what happened to our example for that one, but I will create an example for you guys. An example of a time when we can use would, talking about a repeated state, is something like, every time my girlfriend didn't call before coming home, I would feel sad. So our adverb there is every time. That's our time phrase. Every time my girlfriend didn't call before coming home, I would feel sad. All right. And Shadu, welcome to class. I feel sure I mispronounced your name. Can you help me pronounce it?
Thank you. Yeah, Shadu. You're correct.
Shadu. Okay. Nice to meet you. Where are you from?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Excellent. Good to have you with us today. Do you have the notes opened?
No, I'm using my tablet, but I can't see it from your screen.
Excellent. I'm also going to put more links in the chat box for you guys who would like to open up your own document as well. So we're on rule number 5, and this time it's Mirza's turn to read. Can you read rule number 5 plus the example sentence?
Okay, sure. Used to cannot be used to refer to specific restricted periods in the past. For example, in September 1991, I used to live in Paris.
Excellent. Now we have a little paragraph that helps us describe that sentence, and I'd like Sergio to read that for us. Can you read it, Sergio?
Yes.
Sergio, you're muted. Can you read it out loud to us?
Sorry. Now, this sentence, okay? This sentence is incorrect, and the past simple should be used. Perhaps the best practical is referring to repeat actions in the past to the past states, whereas good is sometimes inappropriate.
Thank you very much. So those are all the rules that we're going to use today to help us guide when we use used to, when we use would, when we can't use either, or when we can use both. Let's summarize those really quick. Starting with Asumi, can you give us one little bit of information you remember from the rules we just read? In your own words.
Okay, we use used to and would to describe something happened in the past repeatedly.
Exactly. Christian, can you add to that? give us more information about when it's possible or not possible to use used to and would?
Well, it's not possible to use used to or would when you are referring to something that only happened one time.
Definitely. Thanks, Christian.
Okay.
Hector, can you give us more information about when it's possible or not possible to use used to or would?
We can use used to when we are describing past states and with the verbs like be, have, and live.
So if we use used to with those, what does it mean about would? Can I use would to describe a past state?
I think you can't.
Okay, you can't unless what?
Unless the state is repeated and you can qualify it with often, such often.
Exactly. So normally it's not possible, but you can if we have a repeated state. So if I was sad, maybe I was sad many times on different occasions. And in order to specify, we would use an adverb like often or some kind of time expression like every day or frequently, something like that. All right. And let's get one more. Jose, is there any other add when we use used to and when we use would?
Teacher?
Yeah?
I just remember the main idea that use to refer actions repeatedly in the past.
Excellent.
And, that is the main idea.
Yes.
I don't remember more details.
That's okay. That's the biggest part of what we're talking about today. So that's a good piece to remember. Julia, is there anything else you want to add?
We can use used to or would with such verbs as to live, to have. I don't remember, maybe to do something else. Like I used to live in Paris, but if there is some specific restricted period, we can't use them.
Awesome. That's an important part of number 3. And I think the only thing we really didn't cover in our review so far is rule number 5. Mirza, can you summarize rule number 5 in your own words?
Okay. Number 5?
Yep. Or, I mean, it's really number 4, but it's number 5, so.
Okay. When used to, when we are talking about our habitual fact, so we can use used to, I think we can use used to. So like that, I used to smoking. I used to something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It's a little bit different than what the last rule there talks about, but the way that you used it was correct. So, well done. The last rule there talks about specific time periods, like September 1991. So in that sentence, it's better to live or to talk about that period of time using the simple past by just saying, in September 1991, I lived in Paris. Not I used to live in Paris, because we're using it to refer to a state for a limited time in the past.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions before we do some practice with this?
No.
Awesome. We have a little bit of fill in the blank here, which is where we'll start. Sentence number 1, I'm going to start with Sergio. Can you read it? Oops, Sergio's gone. All right, then, Mirza, you get the lucky number 1. Read it and fill in the blank with used to or would, or tell us if both are possible or neither are possible.
Do you remember how your Uncle David was sit in the car and smoke those disgusting cigars?
All right, so you can use would here. Can you use used to also?
Yeah. Do you remember how your Uncle David used to sit in that chair and smoke those disgusting cigars?
Excellent. So in this sentence, both of them are possible. Why are both of those phrases possible in this sentence?
Because we are talking about past.
We're talking about the past.
Okay.
Why else? Can anyone else help us? Why is it possible to use both in this sentence?
Repeated actions or routines, no?
Yup, it's a repeated action. For sure. Great. Let's go on to number 2. Julia, can you read number 2 and fill in the blank?
Yeah. Your mother used to have a Yorkshire Terrier when she was a young girl, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. So you used to, right?
Yeah, because it's to have, to be, to, I don't remember.
Exactly. So is would possible in sentence number 2?
I think it's not possible. Because with verbs, with such verbs as to have, to be, and to live, we should use used to.
Exactly. That's the exact right answer. So used to works well here, but would is impossible and wouldn't make sense. Thanks very much, Julia. Jose, can you try number 3 for us?
Okay, teacher. For years, they going on holiday to the Rockies, but then it became very fashionable and hence expensive. Use it too. It's possible, teacher. It's not a specific period of time. For years, it's not a very well defined the period of time. So I believe that it's possible to use use it to. Sorry.
Yeah, used to would be an excellent answer here. What about would? Is it possible to use would in this spot?
For years they sounds strange for me, teacher. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's less common maybe, but it's okay in this sentence because we have an action verb. It's not a state. So you can say they used to go on holiday or they would go on holiday. As long as we have an action verb, it's okay. Thank you very much, Jose.
Okay, teacher.
Hector, can you read number 4 and fill in the blank for us?
Yeah. Years ago, I used to write a diary every day, but then I got bored with doing it and I stopped it. Maybe it was my life that was boring.
Mm-hmm. So you used to, right?
Yes.
Would you also be able to use would in that blank?
Yes, I think it's possible.
Yep, both are possible because we have an action verb. Thank you very much, Hector.
Okay.
Herman, I'm really not sure how to say your name. Are you there?
Yes.
Awesome. Good to have you with us. Can you read number 5 and fill in the blank?
Yes. At the start of their marriage, they used to be happy, but then it all went wrong.
Excellent. So they used to be very happy. Can we also use would in that blank?
Yes.
So explain to me, why is would possible?
No, actually, I don't know, but I think it's possible use.
Can anyone else help us out? Tell us about number 5. We decided that used to is possible here, but we're not sure. Is would possible for number 5? How about
Teacher.
Mirza? Yeah, go ahead.
In that case, it is a affirmative. It is state. And,
it is a state. So what does that mean?
That means that I can't use the would.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I learned it. You correct me.
Yeah, well done. So in this case, we can't use would because it's a state. It's not a repeated state. It's something that was consistent and continuous. So we can only use would with states if they were a state that was repeated again and again and again, but with breaks in between. So if something happened and it made me sad, but then I was happy again, and then it happened and I was sad again. It's this back and forth where the state is repeated, but there are breaks. But in this case, we're not talking about that specific situation. It's different. So we can't use would. Thank you very much for helping us out with that one. And the next one is for Christian. Christian, can you do number 6 for us?
Okay, number 6. Do you used to spell so well, whatever happened? And I don't think we can use wool because it's a state, no it's something that has repeated.
Yeah, this is a state.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we can use used to, but we can't use would. Thank you very much. Asumi, can you do number 7 for us?
Okay. When I was 5, I used to be able to do incredible gymnastic. Now I can't even touch my toes.
Excellent. So you used to, right?
Yeah.
Is would possible in this blank?
Well, I think so, yeah. I think it is possible.
And why do you think it's possible?
Because this is a repeated action in the past.
Okay, the action would be touching your toes, right? But that's actually not involved in the sentence where we have used to or would. Right after that blank, we have the verb to be and then able. So we're talking about an ability, which is actually not a repeated state in the sense that we talked about earlier. So because it's a state verb, be is a state verb, and it's not a repeated state with breaks in between, we can't use would here. So the only way we could use would here is if we were talking about this flexibility that comes and goes. Like maybe when I was 5, I could touch my toes, and when I was 7, I couldn't touch my toes, but when I was 9, I could touch my toes, but when I was 12, I couldn't touch my toes, and when I was 15, I could. So it's only possible if it goes back and forth and the state is repeated in that way. But from this sentence, we do not have evidence of that repeated state, so would does not work really well in this one. Thank you so much for helping us out, Asumi.
Okay, thank you.
Mirza, can you do number 8 for us?
Okay. Before getting my driving license, I would ride a bicycle everywhere.
Excellent. So you said I would ride, right?
Yes. Yes.
Is used to also possible here?
Actually, I use, this is, we can use I used to ride a bicycle everywhere. But it's good, I would ride a bicycle everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So would and used to are both possible.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys have any questions or comments so far?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Teacher, could you please give more examples about would with state verbs when it's not about state but about repeated actions?
I would be happy to, and I think it's a good idea for us all to try a sentence out like that. So I think you're referring to this situation here in rule number 3, where it says used to can be used to describe a state in the past with verbs such as be, have, and live, but would cannot normally be used in such a sentence unless the state is repeated and qualified by an adverb. That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, about would. Yeah, when it's okay to use would with verbs such as to be, to have, to live, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. So a good example is I would get so sad when my mom left without me. And I'm going to put this in the chat box for you guys so you can check that out there. So the situation we have in this sentence is me, the subject, and I am sad, which is a state, right? I get sad, but it's when my mom leaves me. So what happens here is that my mom leaves me and I'm sad, but then she comes back and I'm happy. Then she has to leave again and I'm sad, and she comes back and I'm happy. So we can tell that obviously she can't leave more than one time without coming back, right? So we have a period of sadness, a period of happiness, a period of sadness, and a period of happiness. It's a state that is repeated with breaks in the middle. Another example, they would hate it when their teacher scolded them. It was rare. Okay. So in this sentence, we have a situation when hate, which is a state verb, can be used with would, because what I'm saying is that it does not happen frequently. It happens sometimes, and when it happens, they're upset. The students are upset, I assume.
Yeah, I'm here. I understand.
Okay. So it's a repeated action, but it has breaks in between. It's not totally consistent one event. It's several events which have the same reaction of state. All right. So this is kind of a tricky idea, and I think it's a good idea for all of us to practice it. I'd like everyone to write one sentence in the chat box for this exact type of example. So a sentence where you have a state that is repeated, and we use would. So using would with a state that is repeated, and try to use an adverb or a time phrase to help us better understand your sentence. I'll give you guys like 3 minutes maybe to finish up a good sentence. And if you have any questions in the meantime, just let me know.
Well, I have a technical problem. I can't type.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
if you can't type, you're welcome to read your sentence to us or just say it to us whenever you're ready.
Okay. The cleaner would only work well when somebody watch her, or what?
Okay.
Is that correct?
Let's see. It's a correct sentence, but it doesn't exactly talk about the situation we're talking about. You said the cleaner would only work well when she was being watched, right?
Yeah.
But the reason it's not this situation is because it's not a state. Work is an action.
Oh, yeah.
So a state would be something like an emotion, hate, love, to feel sad, to feel happy. That would be a good example of a state.
Okay, got it. So
we have a couple. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I will just gather my thought, then I'll tell you.
Okay,
later.
I'll give you another sec because we have some in the chat box, and I'll read, and maybe that will help you get a good idea for an inspirational sentence. The first one we have in the chat box: I would get happy when I won my cricket match. Perfect.
Yeah.
Great job, Mirza. I love it. The next one we have: I would get angry when I went to the store and it was closed. Perfect. Thanks, Hector. Third one: they used to give a prize when I won a competition. Awesome sentence, Jose. It's not talking about the specific example that we're using right now, though. Right now, we're using would with repeated states. So try oh, I see. The same with would. So, sorry. They would give a prize when I won a competition. Again, it is a good sentence, still works with would, but give is an action, not a state. So try to use another sentence with would using a state verb like feel, have, be, or live.
May I read my sentence out loud? Because
Go ahead.
I'm on a tablet.
Yeah, go ahead, Julia. Give it to us.
Every time he left dirty dishes in the sink, she would get very angry.
Perfect. Perfect sentence. And that one's great because it uses an adverb every time. So that's an adverb of time. And that helps us understand this situation a lot better. Every time he left dishes in the sink,
dirty dishes in the sink, she would get very annoyed.
Excellent. That's a perfect example because it's a repeated state. She would get mad and then he would clean the dishes, but a week later it would happen again. So we have this repeated state, and the adverb every time really helps us to understand the meaning. Thank you very much, Julia. Asumi, did you get your thoughts together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
I would get nervous when I answered my exam.
Okay. So, it's a good sentence, but we can't answer an exam. We can only answer questions on the exam. So let's change it to say questions on the exam, or maybe studying for the exam or something like that.
Can I say writing my exam?
Okay, yeah. So I would get nervous when I was writing my exam?
Yeah.
Sure, that works pretty well. Thanks, Asumi.
Okay.
It's a good sentence.
Thank you.
All right, we have a few more in the chat box. I would get very tired every time I played soccer. Great one, Christian. That's exactly the right example we were looking for. Next up, I would sad when I did not speak in English. It's a good sentence, but we're actually missing a verb there. Do you want to add something to that, Mirza?
Verb?
We're missing a verb in your sentence. Your sentence is, I would sad when I did speak in English.
Yeah, is this not correct?
Well, you're missing a verb. There's no verb. We have an auxiliary verb, but we don't have a main verb. So it would be better to say, I would feel sad, I would get sad, something like that.
I would get sad when I did not good speak English?
Pretty good. The only other thing I would say is to reverse speak and good. So that would become when I did not speak good English, or speak English well is probably the best way to say it. So when I did not speak English well. And I hope you know that's nothing to be sad about, because we are always improving.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your sentence, Mirza.
One day I will be able to good speak.
Yeah, and then you will be so proud of yourself.
Yeah, and I also proud of my teachers.
All right, next sentence. I would get a good score on my test when I was young. Okay, so a couple small corrections there. I would get a good score. We're missing an article. When I was young, we're missing a subject. So we're missing one article before good score and one subject before was young. But other than that, it's perfect. This one fits the description exactly. We're using would to talk about a state, a repeated state. Thanks very much, Jose. Next up, my mother would be disappointed every time I misbehaved. Yes. Now, we just have to add a little d onto the end of that misbehave because we're talking about something repeated in the past. But other than that, it's an excellent sentence, Christian. Thank you. Oh, see, you already corrected it, and I didn't even see it. Sorry about that.
Michaela, may I have one more question? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just thought about one set was said about speaking English well. If I want to tell a story, can I use it like this? There was a time when I didn't speak English well, I would get very upset. But now I feel okay, I just don't care. Is it okay?
So there was a time when I didn't speak English well, I would get very upset.
But now I don't care about it.
So yeah, that's a pretty good sentence. It's a little bit strange because it doesn't have the same back and forth that we've been talking about. Like, you pretty much, if you don't speak English well, it's pretty black and white, right? You just don't speak it. So the reason that it's a little strange is because when we talk about a repeated state using would, we have to have a back and forth. Like, he didn't speak English well, but then he did speak English well, and then he didn't speak English well, and then he did speak English well. So the state flipping back and forth, which probably is not the case with this sentence, right?
You know, I mean, when we use used to, like I used to live in France, we mean that this state is not up to date now. So I don't live in France now. So and I thought if we use, I would get very upset when he left dishes. So now I don't get upset when he leaves dishes, or it doesn't work like that. It means that it's still up to date.
No, you're totally correct. So if you said something like, I used to get upset when he left dishes, that would imply that it doesn't happen anymore.
But if I say I would get upset, it means that it doesn't mean that it's not up to date. It might mean that that it's actual. So would doesn't imply that it's not actual.
No, they're both pretty much the same when it's possible to use them. So if you use them in the same situation there, they would mean the same thing, and both of them would mean that now the situation is different.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you asked, because chances are that was on a lot of people's minds, and that really helps. So I'm glad you took the time to ask. All right. And if anyone else have questions, be bold. Ask me. Don't be quiet. We have one more sentence I see in the chat box. I would be healthier when I was going to yoga classes. Okay. it's a little bit strange, but it's a good sentence. So I would be... The reason it's a little strange is sort of the same thing we talked about a little while ago, where it doesn't really have that back and forth, because it seems that in this sentence there was a period where you went to yoga classes and now you don't go to yoga classes.
Yeah, okay.
So what we would need is that back and forth. So maybe we could change this sentence to make it a little better, like I would be... No. Let's see. Ooh, this is a tough one to change. I would be healthy every time I went to yoga class, but now I don't. I mean, it's a little bit strange, just because health is something that's a little bit less back and forth, you know, like if you don't go to yoga one day, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not healthy. But it's a good sentence, but it's still struggling a little bit just with the back and forth part of the meaning there.
Okay.
You're welcome to try another one if you like. But otherwise, I would like to hear a little bit about your childhoods. So we're going to use these phrases to talk about your childhood. I'd like everyone to write 2 sentences, one using would, one using used to talk about their childhood. So tell me about something you used to do or would do long ago when you were a child. And whenever you're ready, put them in the chat box. And again, if you have any questions while you're writing, just let me know.
Well, I'm sorry, but I still have the same problem, which is not able to type on the chat board.
That's no issue at all. Just think of your sentences, and when you're ready, you're welcome to voice them to us.
Okay, I think now I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
So the first one, I used to visit my grandmother when she was alive.
Perfect. How about your would sentence?
Would, I would get angry when someone corrected me.
Perfect.
Okay,
excellent job.
Thank you.
Nice, Asumi. Thank you.
Yeah, can I say I used to play cricket in my childhood?
Yeah, that works pretty well. Now you just need one more sentence using would.
Would, okay.
And Hector, it looks like your sentences are ready. Can you read them for us?
Yeah. When I was a little boy, I used to play soccer with my friends.
And what's the other one?
When I was a child, I would go to school every day.
Excellent. Both of those sentences are wonderful. Thanks, Hector.
Thanks. Okay.
So I see you've got your first sentence in, Jose. Would you like to read that one for us?
Okay, teacher. I used to create new ways to let my home a mess every day in the past.
Good sentence, but we should change let to leave. You're talking about when you make a mess and then go away, right? So we'll wait for one more sentence using would from you. And Christian, go ahead and read us yours.
Okay, when I was a child, I used to live in another city. I would have a lot of fun every time I visited my grandparents on vacations.
awesome sentence, but we have to change the verb in the second sentence to have.
Okay.
So even though it's talking about the past, would is used as an auxiliary verb here, similarly to verbs like must, should, could, and after all of those, we have to use an unconjugated form without the to. So I would have a lot of fun every time I visited my grandparents. Would be perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Great job, Christian. Just waiting on a few more sentences, and if you are finished with your sentences, you're welcome to come up with more and try them out with us. Mirza, would you like to read us your sentence here?
Yeah, I used to play cricket in my childhood. If I continue playing cricket, that I would have joined Cricket Academy.
All right. So one little change we need to make is continued with a D since it's in the past. So if I continued playing cricket, then I would have joined a cricket academy. So not that, that becomes then, and join in the past.
Okay. Then and also joined.
Yep.
Okay. I used
Great
to
job.
play cricket in my childhood. If I continued playing cricket, then I would have joined Cricket Academy.
Exactly. Thanks, Mirza.
Okay.
Am I waiting on any other sentences? Julia, do you have sentences for us?
Oh yeah, I have. I'm sorry. Since I'm on tablet, I read it out loud. When I was a little girl, I used to behave myself like a boy, and every time it would get my mother crazy. So it's correct.
Awesome sentence. A couple small corrections. I would behave like a boy is okay. You don't need the word myself. And there was one more thing. What was the second sentence? Read your second sentence again.
And every time it would get my mother crazy.
It would make my mother crazy.
Would make crazy. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. I think I have all of them, right? Am I missing anyone's sentences? Okay. Then we have one more exercise, one more sentence to do before we finish up. I want you guys to try out a sentence when you cannot use used to or would in it. So that's going to be like rule number 4. Used to cannot be used to refer to a specific restricted period of time in the past. For example, in September 1991, I used to live in Paris. So this would be a state in the past in like a very restricted time period. And in this case, in that incorrect sentence, we would only use simple past in the correct version of it. In September 1991, I lived in Paris. That would be the correct version of that sentence. So I'd like you guys to write a sentence that you cannot add in used to or would. And again, you can make it on the theme of your childhood if you like, or you can branch out and talk about something else if you prefer that. So one more sentence where you can't use used to or would. Jose, I like your sentence. You said I can't write it? Oops. Looks like... Jose, are you there? I can read your sentence okay. So...
Okay, teacher. I'm here, but my mic was mute.
Ah, got it.
Sorry. Okay. In the last summer, I used it to play soccer. It is not permitted. Interactive.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that would be a great example of a time when the better version would be, in the last summer, I played soccer. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jose. Hector, read us yours.
In my 5th birthday, I went to Disneyland. Instead of,
Yes.
I used to go to Disneyland.
Excellent. So that's a time we can't use it because it's talking about like one specific period and one event. It's not something repeated. Thanks, Hector. Great job.
Thanks.
Mirza, read us yours.
In the last year, I used to read novels.
Yep, so that's a restricted period of time.
Yeah.
And we can't use used to. The correct version would be, in the last year,
Yeah.
I read novels, or maybe I read many novels to keep the meaning similar.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Used to read novels.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Asumi, do you have one for us?
Yeah, well, the first time I drove a car was 6 years ago.
Awesome. Again, one of those events that you can only have happen once. First time can only happen once, so we can't use used to. And Christian, do you have one for us?
Yeah. When I was in 9th grade, I got good grades.
Excellent. Okay. So that is kind of a restricted period of time, and it's best to use in the simple past. Do you guys have any other questions or comments before we finish up today? No? Well, thank you all very much for joining and participating. If you guys have any questions or comments on this class or would like to know more about my future classes, you guys can friend me on Facebook. And I'll put my Facebook name in the chat box for you. Thanks, guys, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Michaela.